Welcome to our Monday challenge of the week. We are talking about being yourself. And it's really funny because I was getting ready for this video and I'm putting on makeup and I am doing my hair and I am trying to make sure I have an outfit that I look good in. And I thought, isn't this funny? We do these things because we want to look better. We want to feel better. We want to put across a certain reputation or a certain type of feeling of who we are. And this is really important. Those are things that are fun to do, but when it turns into something that's not really fun anymore, it's more, I am trying to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm trying to look like something I'm not. Then we've got a problem. We see this happening in video games where people will try to set their avatar up to look like somebody that's not even who they look like or who they are. And they meet people online trying to pretend to be something that they're not. Before all of this advanced technology, what people did is they would get on dating websites and they would talk about themselves or post a picture of themselves that was edited and it didn't really look like who they were. They were trying to be something that they are not. And the reason that we do that is because we don't feel good about who we are. We do not spend enough time learning about ourselves and appreciating ourselves, understanding our talents and our gifts and all of the things that we have so that we can look at us and who we are and absolutely without a doubt go, dude, I love me. I am awesome and I have some amazing things to offer. And we all go through times where we don't really feel like we have a lot to offer. So what I want to talk about is being yourself, because you've heard that quote, be yourself, everyone else is taken. They really are taken. And we have this disease to please where we're trying to make sure that it's what we think someone else wants. It might be, for a woman, it might be what they think a man wants. For men, it might be what they think a woman is looking for. And we even do that in our relationships of people that we love and who we've been with for a long time. With my spouse, sometimes that will happen where I'm thinking I know what he would like and I want to please him. And it can be a healthy thing where you're excited and you want to show love and you want to give and you want to be thoughtful of them because of what they would love. And we do that in business too. I do that in my business relationships where I've got a business partner and I want to make sure that they're happy and I want to make sure that they feel good about this partnership that we're in. And I want to make sure that I'm doing my part. And so it's very easy to slip into this mold where we end up behaving and trying to pretend. And we even do it with ourselves and how we think about ourselves, even when no one else is involved, because we're thinking, well, I want to come across like I'm this type of professional, or I want to look like I'm this kind of mom, or I want my kids to think I'm a cool mom or a cool dad. And so we do it in all of these different roles that we have in our lives, in our relationship with our church, in our relationship with our sisters or our parents. So it's something that we need to be really aware of and be aware of when we slip into this mode where we're not being ourselves. Because when you try to be something that you're not, the truth is you win some and you lose some. Let me tell you what I mean by that, because it is not a good thing. And you're thinking, well, sometimes I get away with, looking that way, or sometimes I get the deal because I made it look like I was this type of business person, or that I had this much knowledge or had this much experience. Sometimes I get away with it in a relationship because I end up, soothing things over or smoothing it down. So let me show you a little bit about what that looks like. I'm going to give you 5 wins or 5 losses and 5 gains. 5 things you lose, 5 things you gain. What you lose when you try to be something you're not is you have less integrity. You lose your integrity and you become someone who does not have the honesty and you're not as upright. The second thing you lose is you become less attractive. You become less attractive, like magnetic to other people. And what's really interesting is you would think that would just be not physically. It's just emotionally, or the way you connect with people, you become less magnetic. That's a given. We already know that. But what's interesting is you watch someone who has made negative, bad choices that have hurt other people. And over time, you start to look at that person who used to be maybe physically beautiful, and you start to think, there's something about them. There's a light missing. And so it really does. It affects physically too, which is actually not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the magnetic attraction that you have with business partners, with your relationships, with the way you feel about yourself and your personal mindset. It's less attractive. The third thing that happens that you lose is you have less confidence. You lose confidence. And let me teach you something about confidence and about adequacy. Confidence and adequacy are very tightly tied together, but what happens with adequacy is we feel like we're not worth it, or we feel like we're not good enough when we worry about what other people think. Now, we hear that all the time, and so it's easy to go, oh, well, yeah, stop worrying about what other people think. But I'm talking about even when you worry about, like, you make assumptions. For example, if you are saying things like this out loud or in your mind, or this is what if this is what you're thinking, you've got a serious issue with adequacy and with confidence. This is what it will sound like. Oh, well, they'll probably be overwhelmed. Oh, they probably won't like it. Well, no, I can't do that because then, that will cause a problem for the rest of the team. So notice how you're saying all these assumptions when you don't really know. You don't know if they'll be overwhelmed. You don't know if they'll like it. You don't know what they think. You don't know what they will think. So you need to address it. If you are changing your decisions or you're changing a decision, not making a decision, or not doing something, or choosing to do something because you're worried what other people will think, then you are going to feel less adequate. You are going to feel less worthy. And a lot of times we do this and we think we're being thoughtful. It's not thoughtful. It's a hiding mechanism. So I want you to pay attention to when you're doing that. The fourth thing you're going to lose is friends. Not only will you not have as many friends, you'll have lower quality friends, friends that you can't trust, friends you can't really rely on, friends that sort of suck life out of you and are takers and not givers. And they're not people who try to meet you in an equal space that's healthy. The fifth thing that you will lose is you lose love. You will have less love in your life. You'll have less love interacting with other people. You'll have less, even if you keep your same relationships. Let's say you have a spouse who you love and they love you, and you're still together. You might not lose the relationship, but I will tell you this, you will lose some of the love that's in that relationship. And it will be something that you may not even know that you're missing. You don't know what you're missing out on. You're not just going to lose love in your relationships and in your with colleagues and partnerships. You'll lose the love and the connection that happens in those situations, but you will also lose the love and connection that you have with yourself. And sometimes that can be the most important thing, because when we have a healthy connection with ourselves and we have a healthy love for ourselves, that's when we can open up and accept and give and interact with other people and have connections in healthy ways. And if you're trying to grow a business, you're trying to have a healthy relationship, and you do not know how to connect in a healthy way, or you are allowing yourself to have unhealthy connections in certain areas of your life because it's scary, or you're worried about what people will think, or for whatever reason, all of a sudden you are going to have less love for yourself. And that will change how you interact with other people. And it kind of is a domino effect. And all of a sudden, on all these different areas of your life, things will change. And you'll see a decrease in the success that you have in your mindset, your relationships, your family, your business. Now, let's talk about the 5 things that you gain. And what's interesting is you gain these 5 things, but it's not a positive thing. The 5 things you gain when you try to be something that you're not is, number 1, you are more manipulative. All of a sudden, you're trying to like put the chess pieces in place and have things happen just a certain way so that you can make things happen the way you want, so that people will think what you want. They will look at the situation and go, oh, I'm glad she did that. They will be glad you acted the way you did. You're manipulating the situation to try to get people to think about you the way you want. When if you quit worrying about what people think, you can just be yourself, and all of a sudden creativity flows out. It's scary, and that's the biggest reason we don't do it. But beautiful things happen. The second thing that you gain is you gain resentment. You're more resentful when those things happen, because you spend all of this time trying to manipulate and trying to make sure things happen just a certain way to keep everyone else happy, to please everyone else, and now there's nothing left for you. and it feels frustrating. And when you have energy, you can handle it just fine. But then all of a sudden, there are times when you don't have any more energy left. And so then what happens? All of a sudden, you are going, that's not fair. It's not fair that I'm always the one who has to do this. No, you didn't have to do it. You chose. So be really careful about that. The third thing that you gain is more blame. You blame other people, and other people blame you. Because if you make it your responsibility to please them or make them happy, or let's say you have a YouTube channel or you have a business and you're out there with your audience, your target market, and you're trying to be something you're not, and then they get upset with you when things don't happen the way they want, guess who takes on the blame? Number one, they're blaming you. Number two, you're thinking, I didn't do it right. That's what I was worried about. I was afraid, whatever. So stop doing that, because you are more than that. You can be more than that. And you have something to offer that is so beautiful. And the correct audience, your audience, will find you and they will be attracted to you. And the ones who are not your audience, they will want to go a different direction. Not everybody watches my channel. Even though I have a huge business, I have a lot of things I could train, I think I have a lot to offer, but guess what? It doesn't connect with some people. It connects with other people. And so the people who are my audience find me. Number four, the fourth thing that you gain is you are more lost. You don't have a clear vision of who you are, what your identity is, what your purpose is, what you are meant to become. And I can guarantee you, of the thousands, I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people, but the thousands that I've worked with closely, where we get to talk and really get close, this is what happens. We end up finding out that the real reason that they're having these feelings of, I don't know what I want to do for my business isn't working, I'm not sure what direction to go, it usually, in fact, I can't even think of a time where it didn't include feeling lost. And they didn't even realize it. I've worked with some successful business women who have achieved amazing things, successful businessmen who have crazy successful businesses. And guess what? They don't realize they're lost, but they feel stuck. They don't know why they've plateaued. They can't figure out why they are having the challenges they're having. They can't seem to get to the next level. They can't seem to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. And it's always, a piece of it is always that they're lost, because they've been trying to be something that is not really what their heart desires. They're trying to be what they think they're supposed to be. And it can be pretty severe, where they're truly trying to mimic someone else because they don't feel like they are good enough. And you may feel that way too. And it ranges all the way up to, or all the way to a more minor level, where they keep trying to offer the same product in their business that they've always offered, and they keep going down this path when really what their heart is calling them to do is over here. So watch very closely and think and notice. Are you doing these things? Are you doing anything in your life that is trying to please someone else? Now, let me stop for just a second before we go on to the last thing that you gain. Because I am not talking, we're not going worldly here. We're not talking about going off and only doing what you please and what pleases you. No, real life and real giving and real serving and real adding value to the marketplace. Even if the marketplace is business, if the marketplace is your home and family are there looking to the person that you are, the role in that family. They're looking to you for needs that they have. Certain things are not your job, but we do this because we love each other and we try to interact and connect. So there are healthy things that we do to try to connect, that are things that we are trying to give, that are ways that we are trying to please in healthy ways. When I talk about people trying to be something they're not and stop trying to do that, I'm not talking about stop trying to be giving. Because what a lot of times happens is people they have this disease to please, and they do it for so long that when they finally learn that that's not healthy, they stop doing any. They stop trying to connect in any way. They say, I don't have to do any of that. You guys, I'm done. I'm going to go live my life. I get to do what I want to do. Don't let yourself get so bitter and so honed into this hole that when you finally realize it's healthy to stop doing that, that you just let it all go. No, you want healthy connections. So if you have unhealthy connections at work, unhealthy connections at home with your spouse, with your kids, with your sisters, with your brother, I don't care who it is, you don't give it all up. Don't let the pendulum swing the other way. Find a middle ground and start learning and working with those relationships, with those connections. And it's going to be hard. It's hard work. But I am telling you, it is absolutely worth it. The fifth thing that you gain when you try to be something that you're not, and you keep trying to put yourself out there to look a certain way or trying to please everyone else, is you get more of the same. And this is almost the most depressing, because the dreams and the goals that you have, the things that you are meant to go out and achieve, the connections that you could have with people, the mindset that you could change so that you can have like a belief in yourself and what you have to accomplish and what you have to offer, is so vast that you cannot even imagine. I remember I heard Tony Robbins say this after I had grown my business to over $1 billion in sales every year. So it was massive. And I don't say that, I don't mean it like, oh, I just, I did this thing. It was a crazy ton of hard work, and it took years. And I sacrificed a lot because of what I wanted to achieve. I didn't sacrifice my family. I didn't sacrifice my values, but I sacrificed a lot. So I had already built this massive business. And then I remember I heard Tony Robbins say, he said, most people will accomplish less than they think they can in a year and way more than they think they can in 10 years. And I thought about that, and I thought that doesn't seem really right, because I'm a high achiever. I can accomplish a lot in a year. I can accomplish a lot in a week. Like, I'm a go-getter. And I looked back and I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? He is absolutely right in my situation. I had started my business